So, welcome to all of our senior judges. First thing, thank you for taking the time out of your busy days to be not only here at this meeting, but to be spending this event with us, and for taking your time out for all of these incredible teams and children that we have from around the country. A big one that I have to always thank everybody for. Thank you for showing up for these teams. We don't realize the impact that we have as adults on all of these children doing this wonderful thing called coding and robotics. By you as an adult showing an interest in these children, you're preparing them for life ahead with all kinds of things in this robotics world. So thank you for giving them your time, for sharing the day with them, and hopefully for encouraging them and cheering their robots on. So we have a total of 178 judges across South Africa. These are just individual numbers. Some of you, I can see in the chat here, are judging at more than one event. So if you are judging at more than one event, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. And without all of you as judges, not only if you're judging at one event or two or three or four or five in some cases, but thank you. We could not do this without you, and thank you for making a difference in all of these children's lives. We have a total of 45 individual senior judges across the country. Senior is often our smallest age group in RoboMission. Junior is the largest, and elementary is the second place. We have a total this year of 900 teams across the country. We have increased by almost 200 teams for the past 2 years. So thank you to everyone who is a coach for coming on board and celebrating this wonderful world of robotics. WRO in South Africa just keeps getting bigger. And an interesting fact that we will probably hear at the events, because we are quite proud of it, last year South Africa was the quickest and fastest growing competition internationally as well. So we beat out a lot of other countries to be number one in growth. So thank you to all of you, because without you, it is not possible. So some responsibilities of a WRO-SA judge. So these are some of the things that you will be doing. The first thing is, let's take a look at our hierarchy. We have the majority of judges. These are our table judges, and they are the most important. So if you are on a table, you are the most important person in the room other than the participants. Without you as table judges, we couldn't do this. If a head judge is sick, or if we lose a head judge, the competition could still go on because we have amazing table judges like all of you. We then have our head judges. These are people who have a lot of experience. They've been doing WRO for quite a few years. They've attended many WRO competitions, whether they be provincials, nationals, and in some cases, even international finals. So our age group head judges are quite strong. And in South Africa, we generally try to use 2 age group head judges per age group. So that means that if you are in elementary, you may have 2 head judges looking after you. This is something we implemented in South Africa last year, the year before, and it's actually been implemented into the international competition as well, because it works very well to support all of us on the floor. We then have the higher ups, and these are the category head judges. This is normally an individual at the competition, and they have final say on many different things. The category head judge's role is more of an administration role to make sure that you as judges have everything you need, that coaches and spectators are looked after, that teams are in the correct places, all the elements are right. It is really more of an admin job, but they're also people with a lot of experience, and not all of our events will have category head judges available, because we have amazing head judges just as age group head judges. So some of the things that you will have to do is you will need to manage the teams that you have been assigned. This is during practice runs, it's during scoring runs. It's going to be chasing them around, making sure that they are looked after, respected, and that they enjoy themselves at the competition. You'll be assigned a total of 6 teams on your table at a maximum, and you will have a partner judge with you. You will work together. Generally, we try our best to pair all of our new judges or people who are nervous with someone who has experience. So if it's your first time judging and you are quite nervous, let me know via email and I'll do my best to try and pair you with somebody who has the experience to lead you through the process. Remember though, you do have our head judges as well, and our head judges again have an amazing wealth of experience with them. So they are there to answer any and all of your questions while you are judging. You'll then be there to assist your other judges, not only your partner, but the judges around you. As judges, we are one big happy family. We work together and look after each other, please, on the day. If you see someone struggling, please step in and assist if you can. Look after one another because we want to get through all of these events and I want you to have fun. Then you will be assisting all of our head judges. They will be giving you various tasks throughout the day. Most of the tasks will include sort of scoring, doing a little bit of admin with putting sheets in order, and just checking the teams are in the right place and maybe checking that elements are okay. But please assist the head judges if they ask. They are asking for a reason. Then you'll be assisting the teams when very specific issues occur. So if a team is not coming to your practice table after 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you need to go and check on them. Maybe there is an issue that they are having. Perhaps their computers have crashed, their robot has broken. We don't know. So please just be quite aware of where your teams are and what they are doing. As a judge, we enforce various things. So number one, enforce the general rules. So each category has a different set of general rules. For RoboMission, we have the most extensive general rule set other than Future Engineers, and it has quite a lot in it. The general rules have changed for this year because of the introduction of any robot being allowed. So if you don't know yet, you can use anything you like to participate in RoboMission. It is no longer restricted to Lego devices. Then we have the game rules. This is the actual challenge that we are doing. So this would be the senior rules. And in here, it's how the game mechanics work, what the challenge is for the teams, and it includes the score sheet as well as various scoring conditions and examples. We then have scoring criteria, so some elements may require certain things to happen before it can be scored. As part of our enforcement, if we see a team misinterpreting or not understanding a rule, we step in and assist them in their understanding. We basically try and help them to understand where they've gone wrong, if they've misinterpreted something, and get them on the right path. We don't want a team to come to the scoring round and only then realize that they've misinterpreted a rule. So please, during practice, watch your teams and ensure that they understand how the games actually work. We then enforce the code of ethics, and the code of ethics is respecting one another in a very, very, very basic way. So please enforce the code of ethics. There shouldn't be any bullying. There shouldn't be any foul language at these events. Look after one another and just have a great time. And then a big one from me, we have to enforce any of the head judges' decisions. Head judges make decisions based on various things that are happening at the events on the day. If you disagree with the head judge's decision, please still enforce it. It's there for a reason. And most of the head judges, if they are not sure, they will be phoning me or sending me WhatsApp messages so that I can direct them on various scenarios that are happening. We have so many things that can go wrong and so many things that can go right. Then please celebrate. Please celebrate as the teams, the judges, and all of the spectators. Enjoy the entire experience and the event, especially if you are new. You will enjoy everything that is going on the day. Celebrate all of the successes that a team has and help them through their failures. If a team's robot is not working well, they've scored poorly in a scoring round, comfort them, let them know that you saw how they were doing in practice. They're doing well. They must just relax a little bit and have some more fun, and they will be fine. Help the teams calm down. Remember, they are under a lot of pressure and they've worked really hard on their robots to show and do as well as they can. Celebrate all of the robot designs and really clever solutions. Again, teams have been working on these robots at various stages. Some of them have been working since January when the rules were released. Others only started last week. So please celebrate every robot design, no matter how basic or how complex. The children are proud of their robots, and we as judges and spectators should be proud of them as well. And then enjoy this wonderful world of robotics and coding. There may be other things happening at your event. You may have other categories going on, and you are welcome to have a look at those during the judging process when the time allows. So a few more responsibilities just to clarify. One, we're going to clarify all of the rules for teams. We're going to assist our fellow judges, and we're going to be escorting team members to the bathrooms. There is a reason for that, and the number one reason is, well, there's two reasons mainly. One, we don't want them to engage with their coaches. Some coaches will go to the extreme where they will even hide in the bathrooms to hand over new robots, laptops, notes, whatever. Cheating does happen mainly at the international, and we sort that out very quickly, but we have some every now and again in South Africa, and we do our best to sort it out when it happens. Escorting the teams to the bathrooms is our number one, because that is when they are the most vulnerable and open to coaches coming towards them. Generally, though, you will find most sort of coach engagement happens within the elementary and junior teams. Senior, because the kids tend to be a lot older, they don't really listen to their coaches anyway. So we may not have any issues with coaches hiding in bathrooms for the senior age group. The other reason we escort them to the bathrooms is to make sure that they are safe and that they know where they are going. If the bathrooms are further away, we don't want them to get lost and waste valuable time. Please don't go and stand in the stall with the team. We don't need that to happen. They know what they're doing, and just wait outside the bathroom for them. You will also be responsible for setting up the game table elements. This will be during the practice runs and scoring as per the randomization if it's a scoring round, and just setting them up as per the rules for the different practice rounds. One of the mistakes a lot of the teams make is they don't randomize the elements during practice. Please, every now and again, pick up one of the elements that are randomized and place it in a different position so the teams can practice unknowingly all of the different randomizations unless a team is testing for something specific. Then we will be scoring and timing all of the teams. So you will be responsible for timing your teams that you have on your table, and maybe one judge or both of you if you like. And when we time a team, please use your cell phone. The reason I say that is because you know your cellular device better than anybody else. And we have found that if we've given judges stopwatches, tablets, they generally don't time as well as they would on their own devices. So please use your own device for the timing of the teams. You should put it onto the stopwatch setting, set the time to 0, and you start timing when the fellow judge says go. So some RoboMission judging don'ts. Please never, ever, ever touch a team's robot without permission. It is my number one rule, and if you've been judging with me for quite a long time, you have heard this, I think, quite a lot. Please don't ever touch a team's robot. The reason being is if you do, if you even poke it and then all of a sudden it stops working, you will be blamed. And there is no way of getting out of that. Unfortunately, coaches will target you, teams will target you, so best thing to do, never touch a robot without the team's permission. And if you are going to touch one of their robots, explain to them why and what you are doing. Please also never touch a team's programming device for the same reason. You may touch it and the next thing it starts doing a Windows update and now they are stuck and they're lost with everything, and you will be blamed for it by the teams, by the coaches, and by the spectators. So please avoid touching anything that a team has with them. If you need them to move a robot or a programming device or need to interact with it, ask their permission or ask them to do it. Move their robots during quarantine so that you can measure something. Just call them to the table and move their own robot. Please don't assist any teams with building, with any route planning, any programming, or communication with external parties. So building, please don't give them any building advice on the day. Something like, oh, if you made the arm shorter, or if you move the sensor slightly up, your robot would do this. Because again, if something goes wrong, you'll be blamed for it. The same thing with route planning. If you tell them, oh, why don't you go over here, go back to start, you get more points kind of thing. If they try that and they fail, they will blame you because you told them to do it. Don't assist with any programming. Again, for the same reason, they will blame you. And please don't communicate with anybody outside of the venue. Teams should not be communicating with anybody except for their fellow team members in their area and the judges on the day. They shouldn't be talking to the spectators or coaches outside of the venue. Please, as a general, please don't disrespect, tease, or make fun of any of the team's robot designs. The impact that this can have on a team is quite devastating because they are proud of their devices. And having someone say, look at this silly little robot, will really damage them and they may want to drop out and not compete. They feel quite ashamed and will not try. It can ruin their entire competition. So please be careful with what you say. Then please don't show any bias or favor towards any team. If you're a head judge and you have your own teams in the venue on the day, please don't assist them in any way. If you are concerned, you can call the category head judge or another head judge and they can make a decision for you for your own team. It's one of the things I do at the international final when a South African team is under investigation or there's an issue with a South African team. I step back and let my fellow judges handle it because we don't show any bias towards any country, even our own, at the international final. Please don't ever threaten a team with disqualification or penalization unless you are a head judge. The reason being, again, is it can completely demoralize a team. They may stop practicing and they may be so worried. Also, you may be incorrect. So please, if you suspect that there is a team that may need to be disqualified or may need to be penalized in some way, notify the head judge and they will step in and assist you. You also don't want the teams on your table to not like you because you've disqualified them. Then, please don't leave your table unattended. There should always be at least one judge on the competition table at all times during practice. Because you're working in pairs, what it means is that during the practice round, one of you can happily go off to the bathroom to get something to eat. You can leave the venue and go and have a coffee somewhere, but then please make sure both of you are there in the venue for the scoring round. This also means that one judge must be present at the table at all times. So please, at the table means at the physical competition table. If both of you are walking around the team's area and the teams don't know you're there, some teams have been taught that they need to wait until the judge calls them to the table. They will stand there and wait for you to call them. And if you're out wandering amongst the other teams, they will be losing valuable practice time. So please make sure that at least one judge is watching your table at all times. And if you need assistance, remember, ask your head judges to step in and they will happily do so. Please don't communicate with any spectators, coaches. When we are judging the teams. We're not there to communicate with coaches and spectators. Our number one priority as judges is for the teams. The only people that should be communicating with coaches and spectators will be our head judges because they have the time and they can then enforce various rules and answer questions if needed. With that, we have a rule that coaches are the only people who can communicate with our judges when needed, because we believe that coaches should have a better understanding of the rules and what's happening than a lot of the spectators. So please, if you have a lot of spectators there on the day, notify them that all communication should happen through their coach, not through themselves. There are some exceptions to some of the rules we've just gone through, and one of them is if a team is having a hardware or a software issue that is not of their own doing. So for example, there is a software update going on their device. We can try and assist them by finding another device, by moving them through it. Some teams may not know how to update firmware on robots. We can assist and help them to get them through that process and get them back up and running as quickly as possible. If you suspect that there's anything and you are worried and that you don't maybe not have the ability to solve the team's problem, contact the head judge and they will be able to assist. They'll step in and try to get teams up and running as quickly as possible. Hardware issues can be anything from robots freezing, motors seizing, to a whole bunch of other things. Again, these are issues that are not the team's problems. If we encounter something where it is, let's say, a bug in the code, the team has not coded correctly, we cannot assist them. They need to figure it out themselves. You may have an instance where you are flagged down by a parent or a coach and they want you to give medication, and might be food or something, to a team member. Please assist them, but make sure you check everything first. We want teams to enjoy the competition. We don't want anybody to be ill. So please make sure that if you see someone waving a bottle of pills at you, that you do give them the time and you assist them. You do not need to wait for the head judge in that case. Please assist your teams on your table, but do notify the head judge. You may have some teams that are emotionally devastated and they cannot be consoled by us as judges. These are normally teams who have been doing incredibly well, and then all of a sudden they've lost their program through a computer crash, they've dropped their robots, the robot's not scoring well, and they break down emotionally. In these circumstances, we can call a coach or one of their parents to come up to the line and to give them a pep talk. As a judge, we still have to stand there and be with them during this exchange. And in these circumstances, it's normally the head judge that will assist, because you guys as table judges will be on your tables with the rest of your teams and looking after them. If you need anything, the number one stop for you is your head judge. Some general don'ts. Again, this is another rule that I have been implementing for quite a few years, and there's a little bit of a story to this. I do apologize if you've heard this many times, but we always say it every year. And here we go. This is a team that participated in 2019. This is actually at the international final there in Hungary, and they are participating quite well. They've had their great-grandparents fly over all the way from South Africa to Hungary to come and see them. They've put the money aside and they've flown all this way to watch their grandchildren participate. And what happens is we have a judge who goes and stands right in front of the table and blocks the entire view. Please, when we are judging, stand to the sides of the table, so the sides or to the front where the start area is. Don't stand and block the spectator view. We want to make sure that spectators can see the tables, because their kids want their parents to see what they are doing. So please be aware of where you are standing, and if you see a fellow judge standing in the incorrect place, please tell them so that we can make sure that the spectators can see. You are allowed to go and stand on the front of the table and block the view when you are scoring, because you are checking the pieces on the game mat. We generally only score when the robot has stopped moving and the teams have touched the robot. So please make sure you don't block the view. So what criteria makes up a good judge? Well, you should be friendly. Please understand that this is a competition for children. They are nervous. There is a lot of pressure placed on them by coaches, parents, and themselves. So having a judge who is friendly and outgoing will help them through the process, calm down, and enjoy the actual competition. You should be quite observant. Keep watching not only what your teams are doing, but watch the crowd, watch the spectators and the coaches. And if you see something that you believe is a violation of the rules, let your head judges know and they will watch it. Why? Because your head judge may have been notified of something previously by another judge. You may encounter something where the same team has been found doing something 3 times, and then the head judges can step in and start penalizing. So always tell your head judge if you observe something. You should be attentive towards all of the team's needs. This could be things like going to the bathroom, maybe they need something to drink, something to eat, and you can try your best to assist them with those things. Please also watch how often they come to the table. You may have a team who's struggling. It might take them half an hour to get to your table. It shouldn't take that long, but please make sure you check up on them. Let them know that you are thinking of them and want them to do well. You should be of high integrity, so if you make a mistake somewhere or if you see something, you should speak out. So please, if you've made a mistake, let us know and we will be able to fix it. We are all there for the kids and we make mistakes. We are all human. It happens all of the time. And a big one, you should understand the rules. You shouldn't just read the rules, but actually understand it. Practice it, see how the things work. If you haven't yet, try out the judges quiz. There are some trick questions in there that get you to think about how all of the table elements are placed and how things work. Some things just to remember while we are judging. The judges are there for all of the teams. The teams are not there for us as judges. Please don't ask teams to go and get you a cup of coffee or to go get you something to drink, to pick something up for you. The teams are there for the competition. They are there to do as well as they can, and they are not there for us. The team's enjoyment is always my number one priority, because if a team is enjoying the competition, they generally do a lot better than if they are struggling. So please help them to enjoy it, have fun, and speak to them. Get to know the teams that you have on your table. They will teach you a lot about WRO. If you are a coach and you have your own teams at the event, please don't talk to your teams until the lunch break. This is very, very crucial. Do not go and watch their scoring runs. Do not go and see how they are doing. You have done all of the work prior to this. They are now ready and they don't need you during the competition to assist them. So please stay away from your teams if they are there on the day. If a coach identifies that you may be the coach of a team and you are seen speaking to them, we may have to disqualify your team. So let your teams know that you are judging and that you cannot talk to them. When I was judging and I had my own teams at the events, as soon as I saw them walking towards me, I would tell them, go away, I'm busy. And then they would go. Be strict. Don't let them chat to you. You don't want to put their scoring runs at risk. Oh, I've got a duplicate slide. So there we go. Please don't talk to spectators or coaches. Again, this is the role of the head judge. Our attention should be on the teams that we have been assigned. They are there, and we are the only people who can guide them through the experience. So please give them most time that you can. Please watch for teams communicating with their coaches and spectators. And if you see something, inform the head judge. This could be through hand signals, it could be through throwing notes at each other, or it could be through mouthing words from either side. If you suspect anything, your head judge will deal with it. And please also understand there will be spectators there that are waving and cheering and giving a thumbs up to a team. Please use your own discretion and decide if that person is waving at the team and smiling at them, perhaps they're not trying to tell them how to program their robot. Maybe they are just waving at them. So please use your discretion when you are making those sort of decisions. Please accompany all of the teams to the bathrooms. Again, we've explained why. We want to make sure that they are safe, and we want to make sure that they are not going to be interfered with by their coaches. Please never touch a team's robot without their permission, my number one rule, and you may see this again in the presentation. But for now, let's have a look at your event days. Because we've got so many events running at different times, there is a lot happening. So on the 2nd of August, we have 2 Gauteng events as well as 1 KZN and 1 Western Cape event. 9th of August, we have a Western Cape event. The 16th, 2 Gauteng again and 1 in the Northern Cape. And on the 23rd, we have our largest group. We've got a Gauteng event, Limpopo, the Western Cape and the Eastern Cape all running at the same time. Our day starts at 8 o'clock and should go until 3, maybe 3:30 if there are issues on the day. The faster we can get through scoring and quarantine, the quicker we can get to the prize giving. So take note. If you would like to judge, maybe it's your first time and you've only selected one of the events that you are judging at, and you really enjoy this experience, please send me an email. We may need judges for other events. So you are welcome to let us know a week or 2 before the event, a couple of days before the event, and we may have space for you and put you in. So please, if you would like to judge other events, you are more than welcome to. So taking a look at our RoboMission schedule, these were all sent to you in the information packs that you received, the event packs, I should say, with your judge's invitation. So on the day at 8:10, we generally have a judges meeting, and in the meeting, we will be going over some of the rules. You'll also receive your table allocations. You'll also get to meet your head judges for the day, as well as collecting your wonderful bibs or your attire for our judging. So we have different color bibs that we use to identify judges, so we know that you are supposed to be in the competition area. It is also at a very important time because this is when we will go over the surprise rules. You will be given surprise rule sheets that you can read and try and understand the surprise rule. There will also be a presentation, but that is coming up now. During the time when teams are allowed to enter the venue, please help them find their seats. You will have all of the team names on your list for your table, so please help them try and find where they need to sit and make sure they're sitting in the correct places. If you have your own teams at the event, please see that your own teams are looked after first and then start assisting the other teams. We want to make sure that everybody is set up and ready to go so that we can start when we need to. Please check all of the power cords on the tables, check that the teams actually have power, and if there are some that are missing, please let us know. If you have a power issue on your table, let the organizer know and they will step in and assist. Next, we have the surprise rule announcement. This will be a video presentation that will be put up on the screen. It'll have a little introduction to it as well as a display on how the surprise rules work for the day. During this video, you will hear and be prompted on the screen. Please hand out a copy to each team. You will be given 6 copies of the surprise rule, and you will hand, when the notice goes out, you will hand one of these to each of your teams on your table. Please only hand these out when the rule is announced. With that, once the surprise rule is announced, once you know the surprise rule from the judges meeting, please do not leave the venue, stay in the venue. When your teams come in, they can go and sit down and you can assist them, but do not mention anything regarding the surprise rule. So what is a surprise rule? Well, it's a new task or challenge that the teams receive on the day of the actual competition. The teams do not have to attempt the rule, however, it must stay on the game mat. So they are not allowed to pick it up and take it off if it is an element. They have to leave it on the table. It's announced during that 5-minute surprise rule time, and the teams will receive from us as judges 1 copy of the actual rule sheet. It'll have a graphic as well as text on it. So what does our day look like? Continuing. During our practice rounds, we will be managing the practice times of the teams. They'll be lining up behind a line that's been put out on the floor, and we'll call them to the table one by one. Eventually, teams will learn how the practice time works, and they will start running it by themselves, and then you can start walking around, go grab a coffee, and enjoy the day. There should be no communication with spectators and coaches by teams and judges during any of the practice rounds. Once the practice round timer hits 0, all robots need to be on the quarantine table. So all robots should be on the quarantine table before the timer hits 0. And in this time, we will be measuring and weighing robots. So measure robots will have a box that you place over the robot and to see that it fits within the size restrictions. The allowed maximum size for a robot in RoboMission is 25 by 25 by 25 centimeters. It is the size of the start area. So if you have a robot that is quite large, you'll easily be able to see it because it takes up the majority of the start area. Maybe suggest to the team that they test it during practice. Teams are allowed to take the testing cubes, place it over their robot to make sure that it fits. During quarantine time, the head judges will start with randomization. They will be pulling out elements and placing them randomly on the table as per the rules. Table judges, you will then assist the head judges by setting up your own table based on the head judge's randomization. All of the tables must have the same randomization for that scoring round. The second and third scoring rounds may be different, and we have 1 randomization per scoring round. So during the actual scoring round, this is where we will call all of the teams one by one to the table, and they will then be scored. They'll put their robots down, and we will give them our judge's speech and watch and score the teams. Teams, once the robot has stopped, we begin our scoring. When a team has been scored, and once we've finished writing everything down on the score sheet, we can give them the score that they achieved, and they must sign the score sheet. A team is allowed to say no, they disagree, in which case the head judge will be brought in to make a decision. Please, in that circumstance, leave the table as it is. Only start tidying the table up once the score sheet has been signed. If the score sheet has been signed, there is no further debate on anything. It's signed, it is done, it means that the team has accepted the score that you gave them. So, in an instance where a team does not accept the score, they may not sign the score sheet, the head judge arrives, they make a decision, the team may then like their decision and they will sign the score sheet. If they still disagree, the head judge will sign the score sheet on their behalf. The head judge's decisions are final. So during the practice rounds, our teams will line up at the table one by one, and they will have some time to get there. Teams must have their robot in the line. There is no saving spaces. So if you see a team standing in line without a robot, please tell them to go to the back of the line each time they get there, so that they know they must have their robot. It is within the general rules. So all programming devices should stay in the team working area. They should not be bringing any device to the competition table. Teams should be uploading their programs to their robots and running the program from their robots, not from a tablet or from a computer. It should be uploaded to the robot itself, and then they run it from the robot. So how it works, when a team puts their robot down in the start area, they will then run the robot. It'll move around the table for a bit, and when it stops, please give that team a few seconds and then ask them to pick up their robot and move to the back of the line. Don't let them pick it up and put it back in the start area again and again and again. Please inform them they need to go to the back of the line to try and give everybody a fair time on the table. Please use your discretion during the practice rounds. If you only have one team that keeps coming up to practice, they have full rights to the table for as long as they need until another team arrives. Again, in that circumstance, when the team's robot has stopped moving, they need to go to the back of the line. Taking a look at how the competition layout will actually look on the day. This is the same for a lot of our venues as well as the international final. We have the team's workspace at the back over here. You will have 6 teams per table, and they will be labeled A to B, maybe 1 to whatever. It all depends on the organizer for that time. This is where the teams will be setting up. This is where they will have their computers as well as extra pieces. There's then a line which the teams will line up behind, as well as the quarantine tables. These are the tables where teams must place their robots before we get into the actual quarantine phase. On the quarantine table, there will be a piece of paper with the team's name on it, and they will also have their specification sheets. At your event, you may be sharing the table with the judges next door and the teams next door, so please try and use as little space on the table as possible. Then keep the competition tables. You will be assigned a specific competition tables. Teams must practice on the competition table that they have been assigned. That means teams from table A cannot go and practice on table B, even if table B's line is shorter. They must practice on their assigned competition table. There is then a barrier that stops spectators from coming into the area and coaches, and then we have the spectator zone. This is where our spectators and coaches will be. It may be multi-leveled, but they must stay on that side of the line. There should be no teams near this barrier at any time. If you see a team near the barrier and there is no judge with them, go and stand next to them and tell them that they need to go and sit down. They may not be near the barrier. Then speak to the coach and ask them what was happening. Why was this team by the barrier? If you see something, remember, tell the head judge and they will be able to assist. During the quarantine round, so we've now just had our practice round, we're now going to quarantine. Teams must place their robots on the quarantine table before that timer hits 0. There should be big timers up in your venue for 60 minutes for our first round, 40 minutes for the second, and 40 minutes for the third round. Once the timer hits 0, any robot that is not on that table will not be allowed to run during that scoring time. Even if the team had picked up their robot and they're walking to the table, the timer hits 0, they will not be allowed to run. All robots must be on the table before the timer hits 0. This is an international rule, and because we try to make our experience here in South Africa as close to the international final to prepare not only our teams but our judges, we want to make sure that all teams abide by this. Remember, teams have 3 scoring runs, and you will always find they miss quarantine during the first scoring round. Robots have to be in quarantine for the quarantine round. They cannot be at the competition tables. During quarantine, we measure all of the team's robots as well as weigh them. So if you see on a team specification sheet that a robot weighs 1.4 kilos or closer to 1.5, use your discretion. You might want to weigh it using the scales that are available. If you find a robot that is causing a bit of a problem, it doesn't meet the rule specifications, we introduce the 3-minute rule. That means the team is allowed to take the robot from the quarantine zone back to their competition area, accompanied by a judge who then times them. Once they are back in their competition area, they put the robot down on the table and they are given 3 minutes to make the robot fit within the size requirements or the weight requirements. If the timer then hits 0, your 3-minute timer, the team picks up the robot, takes it back to quarantine, and the robot must run as it is. So if a team forgot to put a wheel back onto their robot during those 3 minutes, that is how the robot should run. Please use the specification sheets that the teams will give you at your own discretion, and you will then determine if weighing is actually necessary. The head judges during this time will be randomizing the table elements. What we suggest is that one judge from a table should go to watch the head judge's randomization. You will then go back to your own table after randomization. Please take a picture of the judge's randomization. It does help quite a bit for setting up your own table. You'll go back to your own table and set it up as per the randomization that the head judge drew out. Once you've completed your table setup, you can then go and assist your partner judge at the quarantine table with weighing and measuring. We then have a new rule that introduces the robot specification sheet. Teams must have these robot specification sheets. These have to be kept under their quarantine sheet. So please, you will be given these sheets during the competition. Make sure you keep them and you mark that the teams they had them with. That they brought them with them. Teams that do not have a sheet that has been completed will be given a blank one and they will need to complete it on the day of the competition. Teams that do not hand in or do not complete these sheets may not be allowed to participate in the national final, even if they won the gold medal. So please make sure the teams are aware that they need to have these specification sheets. For scoring and the judging process, let's have a look. So the scoring round, this is the most intense time. It is the time where it gets very quiet in the venue. So teams will be called to the table one by one. We'll have a team that places their robot in the start area, and while the robot's being placed in the start area, they will be setting up their robot, moving the different pieces into the correct positions, and during this time we will give them what we call the judge's speech. The judge's speech goes something like this. Hello, my name is Duncan. Welcome to our table. This is my fellow judge. They will be timing you and I will be giving you the countdown. I will give you a countdown, 3, 2, 1, go. When I say go, you will start your robot running. If you want to stop your robot, you have to touch it and end the program. So please, to indicate to us as judges that you are finished with your scoring run, you have to touch the robot. You only have a maximum time of 2 minutes for your robot to run. My fellow judge will be giving you a 1-minute warning, a 30-second warning, 20-second warning, and then a countdown from 10. When we say 0, you have to stop your robot. We will be able to assist you with that. Now, Are you ready? Have you checked the table? Are all the elements correct? Have you seen the randomization? All right, are you ready? Are you comfortable? 3, 2, 1, go. The team can then start their robot when you say go. The robot will then move around on the table. It will move a whole bunch of elements. It will drive all over the place, and eventually the team will have to touch it to stop the scoring run. Robots are only allowed to run for a maximum of 2 minutes. Once the team has touched the robot and ended the program, it must stay on the table where it ended. So please inform teams during practice. You must touch the robot and it has to stay on the table where it stopped. You then score what you can see. The team should step back at this point, and you can then look at all the elements on the table and score what you see. A team must then sign the score sheet. If the team disagrees with you, the head judge will be called and they will make the final decision. Once a team has signed the score sheet, there is no debate. The robot can go back into quarantine and we can set the table up for the next team. Please only set the tables up again once a team has picked up their robot to take back to quarantine. The reason being is that if the head judge is called, they want to see how all of the elements were laying on the table. And if you've set it up again, it's very difficult to do so. So please make sure that you know, that the teams know, that your fellow judges know that they will only be setting up the table once the team has picked up their robot and put it back into quarantine. Once that is done, the next team will be called back up to the table and the process begins again. Please give that judge's speech to every single team for every single scoring round. Why? Because some teams forget what you told them the first time. So please give them the speech. It also becomes something quite funny for them and relaxes them during the scoring round. When all teams have scored, you can then hand your score sheets and your record sheets to your head judge. The head judge will then take that through to the scorers. So please, head judges, don't collect sheets one by one. Let your table finish and then let the judges hand you all 6 score sheets as well as the record sheet. Robots are only allowed to run for a maximum of 2 minutes during the scoring round. So the robot would start on 0. When the timer hits 2 minutes, they have to stop the robot. We do not let them go over that time. And if a robot reaches the 2-minute mark, their time is recorded as 2 minutes. So how it works is when the robot hits a minute on the table, tell the team 1 minute left. When we have 30 seconds left, you tell them 30 seconds left, 20 seconds left, 10 seconds, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Stop your robot. The teams will then stop their robots, and we then can start the scoring round. Remember, once a team has stopped their robot, it must stay on the table. Taking a look at the score sheet, we have some conditions to be aware of. You may have things that are either or. It cannot be both. So in our circumstance, the nose cones or the parts of the nose for the rocket that need to be placed in a different colored area, it is either standing upright in the correct area or it is not. It cannot be standing upright in the correct area and be standing upright in not the correct area. So the team will only score for one of those conditions for both of those elements. It'll either be 10 points or 5 points. Please record everything on the score sheet. If a team has not scored for something, please make the score or write the score down as a 0. This helps us to identify that nothing happened. They didn't get those points. If you leave something blank, it brings in a question of maybe the team scored these points, maybe they didn't. We don't know when we hand it to the scorers. So please mark everything down on your score sheet. The bonus points for the day. Bonus points are always awarded to teams unless certain conditions are not met. If a team puts their robot down in the start area, they automatically receive those bonus points, even if the robot leaves the start area and does nothing else on the table. If the robot moves for 1 second and the team stops it, they will be awarded the bonus points. How the bonus points work is they must have a certain condition. So for us, the barrier wall is not moved or damaged. reached. If the team has not gone near the barrier wall, if they've not damaged the barrier wall, we give them those bonus points. The reason being is we have found when a team receives 0 or in the past negative points, it can be very soul crushing. So now teams will receive some points for literally doing nothing, which is quite good because it means their egos are boosted quite a bit and that we can ensure teams all get some kind of score. It is also a very good way for us to know which teams actually ran on the table, which teams had an issue, and which teams aren't even at the competition, because if we see a 0 on the score sheet, it indicates to the scorers that that team may be missing. Please then calculate the total score. Use a calculator if you feel comfortable. Please, rather be safe than sorry. And then importantly, we record the time. So our judge that was timing, as soon as the team touches the robot, we stop the timer. Please record the time in full minutes and seconds. Do not round up, do not round down. If you see 1 minute, 15 seconds and 25 split seconds, the time is 1 minute and 15 seconds. So please only record the full minutes and the seconds. We don't record split seconds and we don't round the split seconds up or down. You will then receive for each scoring round a record sheet. This will be a small slip of paper where it will have all 6 of your teams on it, their team ID, and it will have blank scoring column and blank time column. We have found that judges tend to be quite rushed and they will write a lot down on the score sheet. The handwriting might be quite illegible for our scorers to see, and some numbers might appear a bit funny. So with this little sheet, take your time, because this you do once your last team has been judged. You then take all 6 score sheets and you complete the sheet. This is the sheet that we use for scoring, so please write on it nice, neat and legibly. If a team has only scored the bonus points, please give them the bonus point score and their maximum time as 2 minutes. If the robot moved for 2 seconds, they will receive the bonus score points and a maximum time of 2 minutes. If a team does not arrive, please be sure to cross them out on this record sheet. It is a very good way to indicate to the scorers that that team is not in the venue. It then helps us identify maybe they're stuck in traffic, maybe something's happened, and in extreme circumstances, we have had it where teams have had accidents. Some teams have had horrible things happen to them before these events, and we as WRS South Africa try and give them another opportunity at another event because we want them to participate and enjoy this competition. So please make sure that if a team doesn't arrive that should be there, that they are crossed out on your record sheet. So let's take a look at the actual senior challenge. Now the senior challenge, there are some general rules. We need to have the robot specification sheets. Robots can now be built out of any material. They can be any type. You can even mix materials. So you could have an EV3 working with an Arduino, or you could have a Spike Prime that's using a Raspberry Pi. You could have anything at this competition. There is no longer any limit to the number of controllers a team is allowed to have. It used to be only 1. So if you've got 2 EV3s, for example, you are welcome to daisy chain those EV3s and put them on your robot. They count as one single robot. However, these items have to be a wired connection. They cannot be communicating with each other via Bluetooth or over a Wi-Fi connection. They have to be physically connected to one another. Robots are not allowed to be remote controlled in any way via anything, so they must be autonomous. Then please take note of Rule 5.2.6 and 5.2.7. 2.6 regarding sensors. Teams are allowed to use cameras in the senior age group as well as LiDAR and other 3D scanners. When we get to the motors, there are motor restrictions per age group. For elementary, a maximum of 4 motors is allowed, and for our senior category, 6 motors are allowed. So a team is only allowed to have a total of 6 motors on their robot. If you are not sure, and you're looking at the robot, please notify the head judge. And remember, all of this should be written down on the team specification sheet as well as a quick reference. Again, the maximum time that a robot is allowed to run for is a total of 2 minutes. Not 2 minutes and 10 seconds, not 2 minutes and 1 second, 2 minutes. Teams must touch the robots to indicate that they have finished. They have to physically touch it. They can't say stop and then the robot stops. They must touch it. If you see a team on their scoring run and their robot has stopped, shout at them to touch their robot. Scream at them as loud as you can so that they know they must touch it. So some clarifications with some of the rules. The starting area for the robot is the white area. So the starting area on the game mat, that is this area over here where we have the RoboMission wording. And the robot must start completely inside of that area. The surrounding border is not part of the area, and no piece is allowed to extend into this outside border or over this border. All pieces have to be completely inside. This includes any cables. So please, if you see during practice teams that are putting their robot at the start area and it's hovering over the edges, inform them that it must be completely inside. If you see robots that are really giving you an issue, their team keeps coming back, maybe suggest that they test their robot size with one of the testing cubes to make sure that their robot is the correct size. For RoboMission, we have an in or out rule. Something to be completely inside of an area must be touching only the inside area. It shouldn't be touching anything outside of the area. So please make sure that the elements are touching or are completely inside. You can even get down on your hands and knees, take a picture of the element if you're not sure, as I did in this case over here, and you'll easily be able to see if the element is in or out. Taking a look at the bolts for their scoring placement, all parts of the bolt should be touching the game mat, and it should be completely inside of the scoring area in order for full points to be scored. So in this scenario over here, we have the red bolt that's completely inside of its area, the green bolt lying on its side, but all the parts that are touching the game mat are completely inside, which means the teams will score points for it. Taking a look at the white border that surrounds the scoring area for the bolts, the white border is not part of the scoring area. And in this case, it will be considered that the bliss block is not completely inside. So the dark gray area is the scoring area. Any area that's not dark gray is considered outside. So this block would only score 5 points. Taking a look at our nose parts, the nose parts have to be upright. It's as it was in its starting position. So if we take a look at what's happening over here, we have the yellow piece which has been placed inside of the red area. Unfortunately, it's fallen over. That means that the team will not score any points for that element. However, the red one is placed inside of the yellow area, which means that they again will not score full points, but they will score partial points because the nose part is completely and upright in the wrong colored rocket area. They will only score partial points. Taking a look at the payload area, the white border around the payload is not part of this area. The parts that are facing the marking block, we can see quite clearly. In this instance, it is blue. However, this little corner over here is hanging out of the area. That means that this team will only score partial points for this placement because all parts that are touching the game mat are not completely in that black area. So this is going to be the most difficult block for us to actually judge. So please, I suggest taking a closer look at this block whenever a team has placed it. We want to make sure that it is completely inside, just because of its size. Then taking a look at the bonus points, a bit of a clarification here. This barrier should not be moved or damaged. Please use your discretion. It is quite difficult to place, as you will see. Some parts may still be showing some red underneath, so please be aware and use your discretion if you believe that the part is not built correctly. So taking a look, we have barrier 1. That is just the single barrier over here. You then have barrier 2, and barrier 2 are 2 of the same barrier that are stuck together. It is not 7 points for that one, 7 points for that one, and 7 points for that one. It's 7 for this as a total and 7 for that as a total. So please keep that in mind. Taking a closer look, here we have a robot that has run, and this barrier here you can see is sticking out of the area. We can see a bit of its red base sticking out. In this instance, this team would not score any points. However, if this element was initially placed like this, so as the team started its run, you notice this element was not put back correctly and is looking like this, give the team the points for the barriers. They don't have any options where, or it's not as safe as some of the other games where they've got a grey border around it. So please be aware that this is going to be an issue for us. Make sure you use the discretion here, check where the red elements are, and if you've got an element that is giving you issues and you can clearly see that it's not placed correctly, give the team the benefit of the doubt and give them those points. So what to expect at an event? As a judge, you will wear this wonderful stylish bib that we have. We have multiple colors, some red, yellow, and green, and these signify different things. It could be for different categories. It could be a way of identifying head judges and table judges. And if you are lucky enough to be coming to some of our Gauteng events and you are with me at these events, we are using the really old bibs, which have a beautiful mustard yellow color and an emerald green. So we have not escaped the old bibs yet. We still have all these new ones and the old ones as well. So you must wear your bib. It is a way that we can identify you. It is a way that the teams can identify you and the coaches as well. You will be standing quite a lot on the day, so please wear something comfortable, be comfortable, and please try not to wear any school identifying clothing. We want to try and display that we are as neutral as possible. If it is your first time as a judge, you may be quite nervous on the day when we start, but I can promise you by the end of the first scoring round, you will feel like a veteran and you have done this for quite a long time. All the nerves will be gone. And I think all of our veteran judges can attest to that once the first scoring round is complete, it's smooth sailing from then. You will be quite active and busy during the day, right up until the end of the first scoring round. Then you will have a favorite team. There is nothing wrong with having a favorite team at this event. This will be a team that's on the table that you've been assigned, and they could be your favorite because they are funny. Perhaps they have been having a lot of issues and they've been trying to resolve this. They've shown quite a lot to do. They could be the really cool team with a nice robot. It could be anything. I like to find out about your favorite teams at the end of the events, because if you do have a favorite team, it tells me that you were interacting with the teams and you actually got to know them. So please speak to the teams, find out how they're doing, what they had for breakfast, where they're going, what they want to do, what their robots' names are, and just enjoy their company. And you will have far more fun than I think you actually will. Then please join us for the judges' lunch. We provide you with lunch on the day at all of our events for RoboMission. So please come through and join us in the judging room and have some lunch. Lunch is free for our judges. We want to look after you, and it is a way that we can say thank you. During the judges' lunch, it is also a good time for our head judges to come in and say some thank yous, as well as give you some updates on rule changes or any issues that are happening on the day. So please go to the judges' room first as soon as we are released from the venue, and go and grab your lunch. Stay for a few minutes in the judges' room with your fellow judges, and then you are welcome to run outside and get back to your teams. If you are a coach, you're welcome to speak to your teams during that lunch break. So please feel free to move in and out of that area. Some of the judging rooms may be open all the time and may have tea and coffee available for you as well. So some things to remember: judging is completely voluntary. We are not paid to judge. We are all doing this at our own expense. Judges are people, and we all have a love for WRO and robotics or coding or both. And if you don't, if you're new and you found yourself here somehow, welcome to an incredible elite community and group. I am happy to have you here and hope to see all of you at future events as well. Then, for judging internationally, if you would like to judge internationally, we pride ourselves on having some of the best judges ever. Our judges are really, really incredible. We have quite a high level of judging here in South Africa because we practice our rules at the international standard. We often send the most judges through to the international final, and our judges keep coming back. We had the biggest assortment of judges over the past couple of years. If you would like to then judge internationally, you must build your judging experience. So in order to judge internationally, you have to have judged at the provincial events for that year, as well as the national final for the year of the competition. You must then please notify us after the provincial events or after the national event that you would like to judge internationally. If you notify us after the provincial events and then offer to judge at the national event, we will definitely take you through to the national because we want to give you the best odds of getting through to the international. The WSA organizer, as WSA organizers, we put your names through to the International Association, who will then decide based on the experience that we've given them whether or not you'll be allowed to judge at the international final. Some useful contact information. So if you have any questions after the webinar, you are welcome to email me or to give me a call. If you've got any questions regarding WRO, you are welcome to send us an email or give us a call. We now jump to the Q&A portion of everything. So now you can ask your questions. I see we have something going on in the chat there, as well as the Q&A. You're welcome to type your questions into the chat or the Q&A. I'm also going to enable your microphones now so you can also unmute yourself and ask your questions. Let me just change my meeting options so that I can hear you. So you're welcome to unmute yourself and ask your question, and I will do my best to answer it. And while we wait for things to update, I'm just going to answer a question that I see in the Q&A. So this might be a silly question, but being a vegetarian, I've learned to ask, will there be something for vegetarians? Yes, we do our best to make sure that everybody is catered for at the event. If you are vegetarian or have specific dietary requirements, please send us an email and we will do our best to ensure that there is something there for you. So please let me know where you're going and what you would require as a meal. We want to make sure that you eat on the day. So if there is a scoring run and the time is up and you ask them to stop their robot and they press the button or they take some time to press the button, how does the scoring work? So that is a very good question. So basically picture this, the team has running their robot, it hits the 2-minute mark and none of them are near the robot. It then starts driving and knocking some of the elements out of the areas. They then stop at 5 seconds after the time. Please use your discretion. Remember, we want to bias our decisions towards the best possible outcome for the teams in cases where we are not sure. So in this scenario, if a team's ignoring the countdown and ignoring you to say stop, take note of where the elements were when the timer hit 0. You can then score the elements that you believe were in the correct scoring positions before that timer hit 0. Okay, so if you are not sure, call the head judge and they will help you decide that. They will give you some advice on that as well, and they will be able to assist. So please make sure you give those teams a countdown, the 10-second countdown, and they should touch the robot. It is very rare that we have a team that doesn't touch their robot to indicate that it has stopped. Any other questions? Welcome to unmute and ask away.
Hi, Dan. Just one question. So if a team starts a robot and it does not move at all, do they still get the bonus points?
Very good question. So if a team puts their robot down and it starts, let's say they've run the wrong program perhaps, or the program's not working, the sensors have seized, we do two things. One, we check first that they're running the correct program. 2, that it's nothing software related that's giving them issues. And then 3, if we can't resolve the issue that it's having, the team will score the bonus points. So they will get those bonus points in a maximum time of 2 minutes.
Good. Thank you.
Great. If it is your first time coming to this event or judging for the first time at WRO, give us a thumbs up there so we can see who our new judges are. I'm also just going to take this time and say thank you to all of our head judges. I see we have a few head judges here. Peter, thank you for taking on the head judging position in the Western Cape. You've been running these competitions or part of these competitions for quite a lot of time, and your experience is now rewarded by being a head judge. So thank you for taking on this position. Nikki, for those of you who don't know, Nikki's been running in WRO for 10 plus years, I believe, and is one of our serious veterans. So if you're looking for somebody with a lot of experience, Nikki is that person, and she's our head judge at a couple of the events, I think almost all of them up here in Gauteng. So please, if I am missing you as a head judge, I see we've got Peert here. Peert from Cura Aurora, thank you as well for coming and taking on the head judge position. Peert's been overseas with us once or twice as well, and he is an incredible judge. So thank you, Peert, for taking on the head judge position as well. Thank you.
Hi, Duncan. Thank you for the opportunity. I just want to ask in terms of the new rules and everything that's going on, and I have to apologize, I haven't gone through the whole of the general rules as yet. Just one random question. Let's say, for instance, you go through the robot and you didn't see it, and then it has a scoring round, and only then in the second quarantine you pick up that there's maybe 7 motors or whatever. What will happen in that case, or do you just allow it, or do you then ask them to go and change the robot? How would that also work?
What an interesting question. So thank you for the question. We've been debating this at the international level, myself and our category head judges, and the response that we have is it most likely is that the team has not read the general rules. We have a lot of teams who are new. We have a lot of teams who are veterans who assume the rules will be the same every year. This is the biggest change we've had as far as robo missions since 2019. So we will not disqualify a team. We will instead penalize them until the infringement is fixed. So if a team does have 7 motors, they will be penalized. Their score will be reduced by a certain percentage. It's just to make sure that there is something happening. If we have missed it, again, the teams should have read the rules. They should not be infringing on these rules. And as part of that, we will penalize them. In South Africa and at the international final, we try our best as judges not to disqualify teams, because most of the time it is not the team's fault. The teams are only working on what the coaches have told them, so we would rather still allow teams to participate. They've traveled all that way, and to be disqualified and to sit on the outside for something where they have misinterpreted rules is something we want to try and avoid. So we penalize rather than disqualify. So keep that in mind. If you see something, please let the head judges know, and we will do our best to try and sort it out. This includes if you suspect a robot of being a copy of an online solution. Send us a picture, me a picture, and I will be able to check it and see what's going on. Regarding copied robots, if you suspect robots of being a copy, the easiest and best way of figuring out if it is to actually use Google Lens. Jump onto Google Lens, take a picture of the robot, and see what you can find. Often, if it is a copy, you will find the building instructions or a video of that specific robot. When that happens, notify the head judge, and there are criteria and things that need to be met, and we will then penalize the team, or in those very severe instances, actually disqualify them. Thank you for attending. I hope you have a wonderful event, and if you are going to be at the events that I am at, I look forward to seeing you. Head judges, thank you again for coming through and giving us your expertise. Look after all of our new judges, please. Welcome if you are new to the judging family. Welcome to the World Robot Olympiad, and I look forward to seeing you at whatever.